I'll say like, man, I don't know. I'll say some dumb shit sometimes. Like I remember, like guys saying like, well, I remember this one guy, man. I remember it was I think it was in uni. No, it wasn't uni. Sorry, he was like, man, Khabib unstoppable. No one gonna beat him. And I'll be like, just to mess with him, I'll be like, he lost a couple times, right? And the guy will be quiet. He'll be like, bro, that was before, Now it's different. Yeah, but it's just jokes, man, what I mean?
I still remember very like specifically. So this one individual, from uni, he's a bit too old to be in undergrad. Right?
Yeah, now when you say that, I'm literally thinking of like 30 different people. I don't know who up to.
Guys, we did not go to a great college. I'm trying to describe without saying. He spoke a bit slow, and he always had a very relaxed demeanor. And he kind of resembled Lloyd Banks.
Okay, they
me,
just want to fail us.
Yeah, exactly.
They just want to fail us.
That's the inside.
We'll call. Yeah.
Just
what was his name? What was his name anyway?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it like.
Oh yeah. So okay, tell me afterwards.
Yeah. So. Yeah, guys. So if you guys don't know, like the inside joke, he said they just want to fail us. He's the type of dude, like he himself would not study, and like mess up. Like clearly, I mean, like some of the errors this guy made in his exam, where it'd be like, hey, you gotta answer like just one question, and he'll end up answering all four and stuff. So he's had he's had some of these situations, right? And then he'd fail, and then he'd like come and be like, bro, they just want to fail us. They just want money. And it's like, dude, you literally did not study at all. How can you be like, they just want to fail?
Oh, my goodness, man.
So this guy, right?
Yeah.
I remember there's like a whole Champions League. If you guys don't know, like it's like a soccer, football, as you call it.
Football, yeah.
So we call it football, yeah. So it's like it was I think they're talking about Champions League.
Like 2015 Champions League, or something like that. No, after 2016, yeah.
16,
yeah.
I'd say 16, 17, right?
Yeah.
So people are talking about it. I think this, and he goes like, "Yo, but Dortmund, bro, you gotta watch out for them, bro. There's." And guys, I know like if you guys watch football, Dortmund's a Champions League team for quite a while. But that year they were not in the Champions League. And I was like, guys, but. Because, everyone is given their 2 cents.
Yeah.
And, to be different, they'd be like, Ajax. And,
Ajax.
And this guy would be like, bro, but Dortmund, bro, they're...
You ever done that before, Famo?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I was younger, man. But, like, now, again, it's like, because I would hate if someone said, what do you know?
That'd be killer, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, to save that, I'd just be like, I'll be like, hey, like, saw the highlights.
Yeah.
And from what I get, I think, boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Or I've heard X.
Yeah, because I didn't watch the for the KSI Logan Paul fight. I didn't watch that this morning.
Yeah.
So I wasn't about to pull up and be like, I seen the fight and this and that.
Analysis on the jab and the...
yeah. Logan Paul landed more power punches. I don't know. Call him power punch Paul. I don't know. I'm not gonna come up with a lot of bullshit. You know what I mean? Because but I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm not gonna play at being an expert.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's actually one of those things, like, when it's like, I was actually thinking about it. It's like, like how in, like, religion, they'll say, like, oh, don't lie, and, things like that, humble, whatever, right? And obviously, people, I know, of like, what the whole message is that, the religion is there to help you. A lot of time, we'll be thinking, like, oh, I'm not going to lie because I don't want to get punished. But you realize like a lot of these things are just there so like you don't like be like an idiot, right? Like when you just make these like stupid like asinine claims, and things like that. So like it's one of those things I was thinking of, like like it just makes like if you just act like a normal way, like you'll have respect, you'll have all these things, like you don't have to like
you try to be so extra, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to get like the Grand Cardone Tai Lopez special. Like, oh, dude, like I just saw that, like the 3 chutes.
Wait, what do you mean you just saw? Wasn't it 21st?
I think did it do it or
no? It's 21st, 22nd November, right?
Yeah, I saw like the ad for it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure everyone on YouTube knows Tai Lopez because this guy like spent
If
all
you
his
do-
money on marketing.
If you do not, let's just give you the quick line, the one legendary line for the reminder is,
Yeah.
you want to do Famo? Do the honors?
Here in my garage.
For my new Lamborghini.
And also knowledge.
Knowledge, baby.
So it's like all these books. So anyways, right? So if you guys don't know, so Tai Lopez and Gary Vaynerchuk are coming to Dubai, and there's some other truth special like Grant Cardone. So obviously like Tai Lopez, I'm sure you guys know, is like probably a meme and whatever, right? So Gary Vaynerchuk, I'd say he does have now. It's one of those things that I guess like no one can really tell you what to do to get money, right? Unless like there's a guy who says, "Hey, invest in XYZ, whatever," right?
Yeah.
So obviously they gotta spit like some generic shit, right? Like, make a product. Make sure you guys get a USP and like just like digital marketing. Like they have all these like
Social media is your best friend, but also your worst enemy. And everyone's like, whoa.
No, but they have
I'm
all
saying?
these terms like digital media strategy analysis. Like they have all these like acronyms. So guys, I have seen Tai Lopez like, oh guys, so the DGRS part 2, it's got like some like bullshit, right? It's only there for another 12 hours or some bullshit like 24 hours, whatever, right? So you have him. Now Gary Vaynerchuk, I'd say he's still like, he'll tell you shit, and he keeps it real. He says like, yo, like if you guys are happy. He's like, yo, if you're happy with like playing 2K at home all day, boom, like that's cool, He's like, I'm just like, trying to preach to the guys that are like, like struggling or whatever.
Yeah.
And to some extent, Gary Vaynerchuk's made money. That's what I respect too. Because a lot of time we get all these specialists, those that can do teach kind of thing, right? yeah, like how many of these guys are just like, like, oh, I'm a monk. But we'll get on that guy later, right? So we get this, right? And then, so this is like the threesome of the century, right? It's Tai Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk, and then there's this other like fucking trash can, Grant Cardone. So I came across him. I think it was on my homepage, and he did Jordan Belfort, like the real Jordan Belfort's podcast.
Yeah.
And he still like goes as like the wolf. Whatever. I was like, dude, you're really running with this, right? And Jordan Belfort too has some like scam attributes.
Yeah, old habits die hard, maybe.
Because even he like I've got a program, guys, like to sell whatever the fuck, right? So anyway, so he had him on, and I was like, some of the stupid shit he was saying, and I even saw like a video of these guys that are making fun of Grant Cardone, and he literally just doesn't say anything. It's just like 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 the most generic stuff, and like he'll be sitting in like a Rolls Royce. Guys, you see this? This is the worst purchase you can make, and he just was like, and it's stupid. I mean, like I feel like Tai Lopez still makes some effort. This guy is just like full truth. Like. So anyway, like
It sounds like you got some personal beef, bro. Did you ever buy one of the packs they offered? Did you ever drink that Kool-Aid, bro? Did you ever do any of that? You sure?
I mean, no. So like I said, okay, so Tai Lopez, I saw shit. So I clicked on the link and stuff, watched the shit, but it was never like pay for it or whatever, right? Just to see like, okay, is there something to it? And it was like, as usual, like no method to the madness kind of thing. And and you just see Tyler. I just love his ads because he tries to play it so nonchalant. Like this is one ad, right? I don't know if his ad or his video on his channel. So the camera, like it opens out, like you open up the video. He's in a private jet with some like just some. No, I got this. With just some. I don't want to use any derogatory terms, but
Dime piece.
Women that
Dime piece says
might work for that might do a lot for money. But anyways. And the thing is that one of them that's there, she's like a famous like Instagram like model, whatever, right? So clearly like they're not friends. But so the camera turns on and this dude is there like with some like 3-4 girls, and he's just talking about like some bullshit. Like
make smart investments.
Just and then they'll say all these like outlandish things like like college is just like ripping you off and like all this stuff and
Are they wrong though? Don't you think?
I mean, look. I mean, we went to college. It's get like a quality.
Barely a university. Honestly, you could call it. Barely.
It's more like a room with like a couple teachers, but I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of have to be qualified to, sort of. You see, like if I'm hiring you, how do I know you're just competent enough to do tasks, right? Now we can say like all this shit we can learn on the internet or whatever, which you can. And like like we didn't learn that much, right? I don't think I finished uni and did a pest analysis, a SWOT analysis or anything, right?
Maslow's hierarchy and needs.
Yeah. With that, you just pull up with the shouties.
Yeah, come on.
But so yeah, it was so much like BS, right?
Yeah,
but then it's like, it's just institutionalized. So it's one of those things you need, Can you go to, people talk about, bro, but Bill Gates, he's a dropout. Yeah, you know what? He dropped out from Harvard.
So that's the thing, right? So I see where I'm sitting. How I see it is what you're really paying for with uni, like a good uni.
Yeah.
It connects, all right? Is your alumni, is your immediate surroundings, is your environment, things like that. That's why all these Ivy Leagues, that's like you're swinging for like that's you're playing the big leagues when it comes to that. That's why it's so hard to get in. That's why it costs them stupid
But you
money,
see that another good thing with Ivy Leagues is the quality control. Now some of the beasts we had in our like I mean
fine specimens. Honestly. Yeah, they were pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to say something redeeming, but like...
I mean, for me, it was bad because it started from school, right?
Yeah.
I mean, prison. Just like, it's a madness, right?
Yeah.
But like, even from college, right? We didn't have the... And we felt it. We spoke about like... And again, it was like kind of like asshole-ish of us, but like, sort of being surrounded with... some
the Tai Lopez's of the world, let's just say,
yeah, like just some like silly guys and stuff. So it was just like I think that's also a thing. Like when you go to a good college, you're surrounded by maybe you could say they're just book smart, but they're so smart.
Yeah,
these guys don't have no street smart, no books smart.
They ain't got the common sense.
Like they weren't even like good at like FIFA. Like they're just
and honestly, we were there for a reason too,
Oh yeah, because like so if you guys don't know, I fucked up and
I fucked up too. We got kicked out of our halfway decent unis, and we ended up at
my even that was not.
Oh, even yours wasn't that? Okay, well at least
No.
I got kicked out of my half. Well, not kicked out, but I dropped out of my halfway decent uni.
Yeah, I mean I went everywhere, and guys, this was the only unit. I mean, actually your old place was willing to take me. Yeah, but I'd have to like. I'd have to do more. Yeah. But these guys, they were like, so they gave the boy hope. But I think that's the you got. I think good uni for sure is good value. I think like these trash unis don't offer too much. But again, guys, it's just way too institutionalized. You try going like getting a job like without a degree, even though they're not gonna ask you like shit about like what your major was or anything, but you need it,
And I'm seeing the sort of the value of uni with forget about like say quality of student or whatever.
Yeah. Forget
even about quality of teaching. Just sheer numbers. How many people you think were on uni tops? Right? How many people you think? Tops. 200. 1,000.
You don't think we had a G?
A G people? Cause what are you saying, bro? I've never seen 100 people
at uni. I never seen, but I assume like. No, because like foundation and all those years. And
I think tops on a good day, tops.
No, like not 2 bills. Not 2 bills. Come on.
300. 300.
Nah, at least 8. At least 8. Your masters, everything. Come on, G. 200 is like a couple classes.
200, bro.
Bro, when we was there our first year, how many people was there? Like when we had that huge class. There was 50 right there at least. Like remember we had 2 classes when we started?
Oh, like first year and stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe like 4 or 5 then. I don't know. I think it's less than a G. I think it's less than a G. I think it's less than a...
Alright, so whatever. Like,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's just say they call it the Harvard of the Middle East, the top uni in the UAE. No, not ours, not
Oh,
ours.
okay,
not-
no.
They call, this let's just say it's an American university based in Sharjah. And
Okay.
they call that the Harvard of the Middle East. I mean, I don't know who they is, but
Yeah.
I guess it's said.
I mean, there's like perception. It's sort
Yeah.
of like the better universities in the
Definitely,
country,
right?
yeah.
And it's got like 10 times the amount of people, right? And I met a couple people from
But they have like 100 times the campus.
Oh,
also.
definitely. They got the
Yeah.
funding and all that stuff, right? And it just
Yeah.
produces, even if the teachers are the same, even like say we keep all the factors the same, just the numbers, you're gonna hit more. You're gonna hit like there's gonna be a greater chance of you of meeting some stars. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. I've met a couple of guys from the and like even if you look at like the average guys I met, because like guys, like most people, if you know them here, like they came out of that uni, and you definitely see the quality, man. Like compared to where we went.
Yeah. Another thing is, okay, now we get into some touchy territory, but let's just say a lot of the people who went to this American university in Sharjah came from, let's say, just like a more affluent background in comparison to, say, our university.
Yeah.
Facts, right?
Because it's more expensive too.
100%. Actually, I think it's 100% more expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that a year. Yeah. 100% more expensive every year. So, I mean, and
But they'd hand out scholarships nice. Like they were pretty generous with it. You didn't have to be some some insane dude.
But I mean, nonetheless, sort of like on average, you'd meet sort of a more 1% based lifestyle if you went to.
But I met some smart dudes from that place, like legit guys who were actually doing stuff. So.
And see what? So what I'm getting at with that is like the sort of exposure to a more cosmopolitan life, for lack of a better word. That I think is the value of going to university. Now that's just out here. Now imagine if you went to like East Coast or like even like LA or anything like that. UCLA, UC Davis, any of the UCs. Honestly, anything on the East Coast. Boston is like
that's a
connection
monster
city
because you're talking about that's like the world's talent. So that's like some. But I think also. Look, can you imagine? You turn 18, you start working in an office. Or think about how like immature we were. Just like, even socially getting better, boosting ourselves. It's just like so many things that I really developed. Like when I came out of high school, I was an idiot. Like now, okay, maybe you could say that let's say if I came out of high school and worked for 4 years and I went to uni and, studied for 4 years, I guess you could make a point that I would come out better, like, doing the work. But I do think, people development, things like that. I know it's very like, it is institutionalized. They have made a business out of it. But it's definitely like good to it. Even just like work ethic, just also being competent. I mean, we take things lightly, just like being able to like use Microsoft Office, things like that. Not everyone knows how to do that.
Facts. Honestly.
Even just like, when we do presentations and stuff, right? Now, obviously, it's nowhere near like, the pressure you'd have when you're actually working and this shit on the line. But, it's an experience, team building, things like that. So it's therefore like, and it's like, who's going to hire you without a degree?
Yeah.
Unless you're like some beast coder or some shit like that.
And honestly, there are a couple things that uni definitely teaches you, like, it's kind of, honestly, it was kind of disappointing to find this out, but you're literally more or less doing the same PowerPoints, the same sort of air quotes report writing, even in the workforce. You know what I mean? Especially like not so much as my journalism gig, but definitely at this like corporate branding strategy gig. Like it's PowerPoints, it's Word, it's Excel, it's logging things. It's I did X, I did Y, I did Z, and now I'm gonna do A, B, and C. It's making this look nice. It's choosing the right font. It's all these sort of attention to detail things. Yeah, there's a little more creativity, but it's like you're using the same tools. You're just using them with a little more precision and creativity. So I definitely think uni. I learned a little bit of that from uni. I mean, even if it's something as small as like a command shortcut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know how you grow up, but if you don't know, like, it's something as simple as like Control C, Control V. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just something you might have picked up, and all those things sort of compound and add value to what I think uni was. Because Lord knows, I mean, okay, yeah, maybe we got some tidbits from like commercial law, workplace law. We got some jokes, tort law. We know a little bit about that stuff. We got some stories.
I mean, it was fun, like
and it was good times, and we made some connects.
Yeah.
Not too many valuable ones. No offense, but like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I mean, I'd say like, it's just it's too much.
Sorry, just definitely made one very valuable connect. Shout out, Mr. Joseph.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say me, but okay. Because if you guys don't know, we met in college or whatever. But no, I think it's just like overall, man, it's just too big part of a system. And I know people say, oh, but Steve Jobs. You know what? Steve Jobs was educated. Maybe he didn't have formal education, but the guy could make computers do whatever the hell he did, right? And the same thing with like Bill Gates and stuff. Like he made Microsoft. Like he knew how to he knew the computer stuff in and out at the time where people didn't know. So he didn't have to like study that shit. Like he probably studied it, but like on his own thing, like practicing on his own, reading books. Oh, and he had money behind him. Like his family had money too.
Yeah,
So.
let me ask you real quick. Do you feel like you know how to learn things? Does that make sense? That question.
I know how to learn them.
Like, yeah. Do you feel like you've sort of mastered the art of learning, of understanding?
I felt like I did, but I feel like as I've gone older, I'm a bit like, it doesn't like just come in that easy.
Yeah.
Because I'd say like at least for me, I did feel like I was just like competent at everything. Like I might not be like a beast at it, but it's like if you
Jack of all trades philosophy, almost.
yeah, like if you told me like yo, like here's the Street Fighter game, like because I know you play that.
Yeah.
Like I know once you sort of give me like okay, this is what you press, whatever, boom, like I'll get it.
Yeah.
And I'll know what to look for. Maybe because you're much more experienced, you'll beat me. Things like that. So I felt like that. Like even like uni and stuff, it wouldn't take too long to grasp things. So I'd say like, I don't really see anything as like a huge task.
So like real facts, that's one thing I really, really wish I learned in uni, like first year. You know what I mean? Or even like in my first uni, like when I was doing engineering, was how to learn, was how to approach how to approach sort of like retaining the information, understanding, utilizing the information. That's something I learned after uni, honestly.
Oh yeah, where'd you learn that?
Literally my homeboy was like, he gave me access to his Audible, and I found this book called The Art of Learning, and it kind of just yeah, facts, honestly.
And like is there any like main takeaways from it?
Yeah, there's some nice takeaways, and it's some stuff you kind of already knew, but then you don't really practice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And practice is sort of the biggest thing about it. You know what I mean? And sort of doing things for, what's it called? You know how everyone says like, oh, if you find what you love, you never work a day in your life. Or if you do what you love for work, you never work a day in your life. Things like that, right? Having the interest and the passion. I feel like I could now do that stuff. I think I can now pick up just about anything because I'm interested in learning. You know what I mean? Whereas in uni or like high school, definitely, I was very much interested in...
I'm joking off.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean? I wasn't interested in learning because to me, like, knowledge wasn't like, it wasn't like cool. You know what I'm saying? But then I sort of made it cool. And that's why... And there's a whole like myriad of people out there who are into like... They're on the podcast game, which is what we're doing right now, right? They're making podcasts, listen to podcasts, trying to be like, oh, there's knowledge. But I don't feel like once you know how to learn and you make knowledge your interest, then I feel things, at least for me personally, that really changed things. Definitely. You know what I mean? And now I take a very sort of systematic approach to a lot of things. That really helped me out with my first gig, my journalism gig, because then I approached it in a certain way. I was like, okay, let me understand this, let me understand that, step by step, break it down, understand it, be interested in it. Maybe not the content, but the fact that I'm learning something. Apply the same philosophies to my branding gig, and then once you start getting the praise, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? And that felt good.
Did you get like praise recently?
Yeah. I mean, I got like things like, oh, your eye is developing finally. Cause I mean, dude, I couldn't I don't know the first thing about pictures, bro. Like I like to work with the words, and man, I used to pick the worst pictures. I used to be like, oh yeah, it's got this, it satisfies my requirement. You know what I mean? But then she's like, I don't know, my boss was telling me like I need to develop an eye. I was like, what the fuck is she talking about, man? Develop an eye. I got 2 of them. You know what I mean? But then she was like, no, we're looking for this subtlety. We're looking for these emotions conveyed when the model stands this way or looks at you this way, whatever.
Yeah.
I know, come on, man. You grew up like thinking all that was BS. But then, if you drink the Kool-Aid and you really get to immerse yourself in the world, you're like, oh, okay, shit, this makes sense. And you can, now I feel like I could tell like a quality picture from a shit one. You know what I mean? for lack of a better word. And I don't know, the company I work for requires a very certain kind of eye, less opulent, more understated, subtle things like that. And now I'm being trained to look.
Which you're not used to because of hip hop.
That is true, man. Honestly, that is true. And also, I don't know. I like to think I'm a little more analytical than that. So I'll be looking for like conditions, you know, like I'll be like, oh, if this satisfies that, if this has like one human and one drink and one dish and like one view of the sun, like this is a good picture, satisfies requirement. That's how I used to think. But then I was like, nah, man, you gotta focus on this, focus on that. And I feel like I'm getting better, and then I'm getting the love for getting better.
You think you got like a? You think you're like a creative guy?
No, not really.
You think you're more like numbers and?
I think I'm just honestly.
What are you good at, man? Like, why not?
Basic arithmetic, yeah, sure. Because I was drilled in like an Indian school.
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah, I mean, like I don't know, I can keep up with one of my homies. He's pretty gifted at math. But I just my mental arithmetic. I think
So what do you think is like your
my thing? That's the thing. I don't feel like I have a thing. I feel like I'm a very sort of. I think I'm the average Joe, honestly. As much as we like to think we're very different, I honestly think I'm the average Joe.
Dude, I think I'm special, man. I think I'm on our next.
I think I'm a special one. Shout out Jose Mourinho.
Really specialist in failure.
Oh, hey.
That's what he called Arsene Wenger. So just throwing it back. But no, I don't know. I was always intrigued by creativity, and I knew like on some level I'd be doing something like that one day. Even though like, so grew up like brown kid and sort of I don't know. It wasn't a thing we were sort of really pushed to do.
Yeah, we weren't sort of focused on arts and craft. I mean, at least I don't know. I was a little bit sort of towards when I was like post 10.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. What about you, man?
But yeah, like I remember when I came across Photoshop.
Yeah.
It just like blew me away, and I remember like I used to like grind. I used to like go watch videos how to do it, download stuff like just to see. And I was a beast. I used to like make money off of that shit. Like,
oh yeah.
Because like the guys in school that want like some like cool pictures and shit, right? Like playing basketball, whatever, right?
Yeah, it's like yes, me and LeBron. I dunked on him.
Yeah, like I'd make like some like like a Nike ad looking picture, but it'd be like some fat, some fat. Yes, I used to do that shit. And, like it was like cool. And I remember there was this like there's like this old photo store like where I used to live back in Sharjah. And they had like those nice printers they could print on card or whatever. I remember I printed for a guy and he was like a beatboxer.
Oh no way.
So I made it. So yeah, so I know from there like because I was just like too intrigued. And then even after that, like just like with the boys like making videos like and also like adding shit. It wasn't just like making videos and stuff. So I always felt like that was there. Like even just like how my mind would work. I used to love movies and like also used to think like things like that. So it's one of those things I just knew. Like even now, like with the YouTube thing, it's like, I just feels.
I mean, I don't know if I have any talent. But
yeah, talent I can't say I have. Like,
I mean, like inclination towards certain things. Because I was always interested in like all sorts of things. The whole reason I got into engineering because I thought I was very interested in physics, and just like theoretical physics and fluid mechanics, all that stuff, all those subjects that like electrical engineering. That's what I picked, right? That's what I thought I was like really into that stuff, and I was like, man, I'll be a scientist one day, bro. You just watch. And then I fell out of love with it just as soon as I fell into love with it. It took me like 3 years to realize, but I
mean that is so tough because I feel like even at college, I mean at least for us it wasn't that bad. But imagine the kids like their parents like send them abroad. And like let's say they're just like learning engineering whatever and then like a year later they're like no I want to like study law or acting or whatever. So it's like that's like a madness to me. It's like
I realized one thing I did know was I just like knowing sort of useless information, like just I love the general knowledge. I loved having like my foot in every little pool. My toe in every little pool. I don't know
what do you think like made you that way? That you just wanna
I don't know, man. I kind of got obsessed with having everything. Like I didn't like to choose between this and that. I kind of wanted both. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to be like smart and funny, but also like cool and popular and this and that. I chase. That's the saying, right? You chase 2 girls, you get none. And I kind of chased all these things, and I
Is that a
literally got.
saying? Like just do.
Yeah, you chase two girls, you don't get one, right?
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if I'm butchering the saying, but that's sort of the gist of what they're saying. Is you try to diversify too much, you're not gonna get anything.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have a lot of like shallow knowledge about something, and that's kind of what I felt like I was until I was like 19, which is a coloss. Now I kick myself now. I go back and I was like, dude, I wish I stuck with like, because I used to be in like this UEFA youth program playing football when I was a kid,
Okay.
and I was like, dude, I wish I stuck with that. Then I picked up karate as a kid, and I was like, dude, I wish I stuck with that. I used to box. I was like, I wish I stuck with that. You know what I mean? So now I'm trying to like learning how to stick with stuff. You know, even when it gets boring and dull. You know, like because I realized it's a discipline thing. You know, because I thought discipline would be easy. You know what I mean? Because you see in the movies and like it's the main guy sticks to the path so easy, right? But then I realized that, you know, like it took me a while to realize.
But what was it? Was it just like fitting in that made you be like, yo, I wanna?
No, I'll be like I
Like,
see the
no.
new stimuli and I lose it. You know, I'd be like, wow, what is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? You know what I mean? Now I've calmed down significantly. You know what I mean? But oh, you know what? That's one thing. Ever since I was like, 2008 was what, 12? Yeah. Ever since I was 12, I always wanted to be on the radio. Like since I was 12, you know, because I used to listen to.
Yeah, now, boy.
Oh, we made it now. But, I used to listen to Radio Bahrain, and I just wanted to be that DJ guy, like, you know, playing. Here's some smooth tunes for you evening riders. You know what I mean?
Oh, you want to be that? You don't want to be like the conference, like you want to be like Envy and not like Charlemagne, or what?
Honestly, that's what I kind of wanted to be like both. But I would, as a kid, I would lean towards Envy. I'd be more like a DJ Envy, you know.
Just like that producer vibe, like
Yeah, you know, just play the tracks, know what people want to play, and then, you know, leave them with some. I don't know. I used to watch these movies of like these, you know, these old ham radio guys, and I used to want one so bad, but then I realized you can get a license for those things, whatever. And then, you know, like I didn't push. I guess I didn't push enough to go get one, but I always wanted to do that. And every time I was asked, you know, by all these career counselors and stuff like that when I was a kid, I'd say like they'd say, oh, you know, if you could do one thing for the rest of your life for no money, what would it be? I'd be like, get money. You know, like too much hip hop as a kid. But then on a serious note, I'd be like, no, I wanna be in radio. I just wanna talk and like play some music for some like, you know, night riders or whatever, and kind of do my thing. I remember everyone, you know, all the fam and stuff used to be like, no, that's a part-time job, that's a hobby, that's a this, that's a that, you know. So I kind of got it out of my mind. I was like, yeah, I gotta do the engineering, and then that was a disaster. You know what I mean? 3 years and too much money later, then I had to switch the style up, and then, you know, here we are.
What do you think it is with like talkers and stuff? Because you see a lot of talkers, whether it's podcasting, whatever. A lot of it gets to sort of advice given and how to, and you even see it in a lot of people, like, you know, so many talkers, like, you know, they, you know, I guess work-wise per se, they haven't done much, and then it sort of just becomes
those who can't do teach, or what's the saying? Yeah.
But what do you think? Is it just like because like when you're having a mature conversation, does it always just come to how do you resolve it? How do you maximize? Because like if you compare like when us, like we'd be talking before, it was like, oh, cock and pussy, and you know, like there's some like stupid shit.
Being silly, yeah.
And then now it's always like, okay, so I had this, you had this issue.
I mean, look, I kind of started acting as if I was being recorded every single day just to ensure like good behavior.
Oh,
I
really?
wanted to like, you know, up my game and be a little more poised and such. And every time we have like, you know, we used to have those conversations, I always used to think like my younger self would be tuning in. Even now, like the whole reason I want to do this podcast, at least like on the inside, is to satisfy that desire as a kid.
Yeah.
But also like maybe on the off chance we upload and there's like some kid out there sitting on his computer and he scrolls through and he finds this, and, you know, and after like, you know, laughing, I was like, oh, what a bunch of fucking losers, you know what I mean? But then, you know, we get to this part and he's a little more like, oh, you know, whatever, like I guess they're right. Yeah. And then like, you know, eventually down the line he'll be like, oh, you know, I find myself a little bit like that. Like I always feel like I'm talking to myself, you know, like a younger version of me in whatever shape or form that takes. And I like talking, man. You know, it makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good, but I feel like I had to make a conscious decision not to
talk too much.
I guess like talk to him, but also just like be that guy, like, oh yeah, you know, you gotta hard work and blah blah blah, like, cause like I feel like, you know, a lot of times you don't even notice it, but you just like sort of, you know, people end up doing it.
I feel like a lot of it was like, I don't know. I'm stuck in this position. I used to get stuck in this position. I honestly sometimes I still do, where I'll be confronted by like one of the shabab, and they'll say things, like not confronted, but they'll give me like some advice or like a one liner, like, if you talk too much, like nothing gets done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you spend all your time talking, like you're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, oh man, fucking they're right. You know what I mean? So then I'd try to shut up about stuff. You know what I mean? But then it always comes back. And so I was like, okay, it's always gonna come back. It's like almost I used to treat it like a disease. I used to be like, oh, I have this disease. I want to talk about everything. Like I talk about how my day was, ask about how their day was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People told me I just like to hear myself talk, which I think there's some truth to
I can
that.
see that.
So,
but I think like I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I thought like we'll put it into something like usable. Like a podcast.
Well, what's your thing on that? Like just sharing, cause like that was also like one of the things that I sort of had had to sort of confront, cause it's like, if you're like, even let's say you're killing the game, okay, right now I guess it's like whatever, right? But let's say you're killing the game, doing everything, and it's like, and then do you feel like it'd be cool like if you're just telling people, yeah, so I linked up with this thing and did this that, then I went here and my job got promoted, or whatever. Because it's not like hey, I'm trying to flex, but it's just like, because I do feel like it's nice that if you have some close people, you share like the just whatever I'm thinking, whatever, which
you believe in the evil eye, bro.
yeah
you do.
Yeah, somewhat.
What's it called in Arabic, or like at least in the Quran, the evil eye?
I can't remember, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like
I mean, yeah, for those guys that don't know.
If you don't understand, it's like when people see you doing good, and they give you that evil eye, that sort of envy and jealousy and things like that, and then something bad happens to you. You know what I mean? So like you just buy a new car, you flex to your boys, you show them off, put on Instagram, and they crash it the next day. I don't honestly believe in a lot of that stuff, but sometimes it really feels like some of that stuff's happening, because I don't know. Sometimes I have like I'll have some good news, and I'll go open my mouth to a couple people, and then that good news turns sour really quickly. A lot of it has to do with girls, definitely. I'll be like, yo, man, I'm chatting to this thing, and the next day I'm blocked. How? What? How would she know? You know what I mean? But like,
so like be real with me, right? So obviously, like you got like the man and whatever. Now we're diving in. This is where it gets interesting. So
it's only an hour and a half, and it gets interesting.
So, you obviously you got man and whatever. Have you ever felt like, obviously not like, oh, I gave someone the banner, but like, have you ever felt like, like if someone's there and he's like, and everything's just working out, the girl, the work, everything, like, it's just, I have too many streams of money coming. Like,
feel like, oh man, there's so much success, I can't deal with it. Have I ever felt the like, evil eye to other people?
Yeah. Have you felt like, even though it's your boy, like,
no, not to the fam, to the close, like to the bread, no.
Oh God.
Like there'll be some saltiness, like I don't know, if I lose it, like Tekken or something like that, like if I get my ass beat, I'll be like, fuck this guy, man. You know what I mean? Like I'll
give like whatever. That's
or if we're training jiu-jitsu and I get tapped, I'll say something like, man, fuck, I wish this guy been training longer than me, like, oh, screw him, you know what I mean? Some bullshit like that. But obviously when I was younger, I felt like, definitely some jealousy and things. Even, if the homie scores the girl or whatever.
What's
like,
younger? Like, where do you think it's
younger, I'm talking like pre-Dubai, so it must be like 16,
so
15.
that's like a while.
Yeah, no, ever since I came to Dubai, I was on a very different, I was a little more like positive about things. Because I was like, oh man, it's so many different kinds of people, you know what I mean? Like, why the negativity,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I felt the evil eye to like some strangers or whatever. Like
when I say evil, I don't mean evil. I just mean like
jealousy, yeah, the envious.
Like,
yeah, of course.
That
yeah,
should have been me.
Yeah, to like the strangers and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. But when it comes to like the the brothers, I don't want to. Because it creates bad blood. Like that starts the festering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's something that really bothers me, like I don't know, like he took my last slice or whatever, or like I had a thing for this thing, and he swooped in. I'd be like, well, let's talk about it. Because I don't want anything festering. But on the whole part, if it's close like this, I don't like to have bad blood. I want to big up him, I want to say congratulations. I want to say I'm happy for you. You know what I mean?
Speaking of bad blood,
Oh shit. Speaking of bad
so
blood.
actually, just right before we started the podcast, so we are actually trying that. We have a lot of our conversations on the podcast, so you guys can hear. Maybe find it helpful and entertaining. So, just I guess like fill everybody in on what happened, and then we can sort of.
So what it is back when I was in uni, I made a good friend, or at least I thought. No, he was a good friend, honestly. He used to be like my big bro, because I already have a brother, but like we used to be in different unis, and like this guy was like a big bro to me, and we were friendly and we got on. We shared a lot of emotional bond earlier in our friendship, and it evolved, and like we grew together, whatever.
Yeah.
He started working a big corporate gig, and I was still in uni, and things happened. Yeah, life moved on, whatever, but we still kind of stayed tight. And he was always like a very there's a lot of banter with him. There's a lot of like jabs and sometimes venomous nature, and I never paid it too much mind. Yeah, sometimes it get a little irritating, but it was always like just how with the boys were joking around. You know what I mean? Now, was it very recently that like me and him and a couple other of the boys, we went out to some dinner, and I was just talking to the shabab about how I got this gig, and I'm like, yo man, I'm gonna start in like 2 weeks.
By the way, guys, shabab is like just like your homies, the mandem.
Oh yeah,
guys like that. So sorry, continue.
we try to switch up the language every now and then, Mr. Worldwide. But I don't know, that particular day he was being particularly venomous. Saying things like, oh, watch how you're gonna get fired in 2 months. Yeah. Or like fucking calling names and shit like that. And then he was trying to one up himself every single time. And normally I was like, yeah, man, it's banter, whatever, you know what I mean, not a big deal. Until I felt like it's personal. Yeah. And I'd be like, yo, G, stop that shit, man. Like, it's but obviously I didn't make too much of a big deal about it. But I was like, dude, calm, you know what I mean? Like, we're at dinner. Yeah. I started to escalate. We were getting some tea, and like one thing led to another, and I think I paid for his drink because I didn't know it was on the tab. And he like he was like, thanks bitch, and threw the receipt in my face. I was like, what the fuck is this disrespect for, you know what I mean? And then it got heated, and I kind of warned him. I was like, bro, keep talking shit and there's gonna be some problem, you know what I mean? I was holding some tea in my hand, and I was like, bro, keep talking shit, you're gonna catch some tea in your face. And he's like, you're not gonna do nothing. And I was like, bro, you pussy boy, not gonna do anything. Just boys being silly, you know what I mean? And he threw an orange juice at me. Alright. Now at this point I was like, what? I was like, I can't believe this happened, you know what I mean? I kinda like chipped my head as well, you know what I mean?
It's quite odd, like just
aggression,
like,
you know what I mean?
And I mean, he's like
he's grown. He's my older bro. He's like 2-3 years older than me. You know what I mean? It must be 26, 25. You know what I mean? And at that very particular moment, I was like, oh shit.
And just so you guys know, like, there's no, I don't even think you know his girl that much, and so there's no like history like to.
Of like anger. Yeah, no. It was like I thought it was love for a while. I mean, he was the guy who used to help me and sit down with me and like
So there was like really not. I mean, at all that could be even like questions. So that's why it was like strange.
It was like shock at first, and then like the anger started to set in. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not proud of myself, but the thoughts going through my head were quite like let's damage this dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I've been training jiu-jitsu for a while, and I'm no means a killer, but like. I know this guy's untrained, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, dude, if I fucking wanted to hurt him, I could do it. Yeah. And I was waiting for him to do something. I was waiting for him to touch me one more time, and I would have like. And the thing is, we were in public, right? Like, there's families around us. People were getting nervous. Like, they got up and shifted places because they thought we were gonna throw down. And it's like some of my other homies got in between us, and I think I saw he knew he fucked up. But he was unapologetic about it. But like he knew, like he was getting nervous because he's like, yo, shit, Danny's gonna do something else. And I was honestly like I was just like.
Is it you ever thought like when you was doing jiu-jitsu, like when you started off that I'm gonna use this someday?
No, I mean I really tried to get into the humble nature of things and get into the self-defense, and that's what the coach teaches, and that's what the whole Gracie family does. No ego, but honestly, man, at that particular moment, it's very difficult.
Just hated, and it's very unnecessary.
Yeah, but I stayed calm. Yeah, I was like, whatever, man. Even my homie told me like, yo, you're bigger than this. You don't need to worry about it. And I was like, don't worry, bro. I'm calm. And I think from that moment on, I was like, bro, I'm not gonna tolerate this disrespect. However, so like, khalas, like this guy is done. Like I don't wanna associate. And I made it very clear to the other friends that if they want to associate, that's perfectly fine by me. Because, like, you know, their friendship wasn't soured. But if he's around, I don't want to be around. And don't bring him to my house. And that's it, you know. I mean, he stayed in the group chat as well. I just didn't respond, you know. And he tried calling me the next day. He sent me a couple WhatsApps. But, man, I wasn't having any of that stuff, bro. And this was nearly a month ago, you know what I mean? Fast forward to today. I've been screening his calls. I wasn't interested in talking. And then today, I mean, I thought it was done, yeah. But today I get a call from him. I ignored. Not interested. And then as I was walking through my door, I got a call from an unknown number. And I knew deep down inside, I knew who exactly it was. And I answered the phone and I just stayed quiet on the other end until I heard a crying voice say my name. And no, it wasn't my homie, but it was his girlfriend, in fact, who called me. And she was bawling her eyes out, tearing up, talking about how, like, you know, the guys mean so much to him, and like I can't do this to him. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I can't do this to him. And she's like, oh, he got kicked from the group chat. And I was like, all right, I didn't tell anybody to do that. That's not my business. And I'm like, look, man, I don't want the association. I was like, try to save her some time and say I don't want to talk about this, but I humored her for about 20-30 minutes, something like that. And the gist of it was like he's very upset. He's very sad about all of this. He tries to apologize, and I'm not letting him. And you know, he's been cut off essentially from the group because they got they say it's a principal thing. I spoke to the boys. They say it's a principal thing. They saw what happened, and it was like it wasn't right. You know what I mean? And the thing is, this is a guy that always jabs at everybody, and the guy just kind of felt like, you know, we weren't losing anything. Now, look, I'm not salty. I'm not like, yeah, kill this guy, you know what I mean? I know I'm not going to take any more shit.
It's a bit extreme.
Yeah, I'm not going to, like, you know, I'm not like angry about anything. But at the same time, I don't want to go back to that, you know what I mean? I don't want that back in my life, because now, you know, with the whole gang, the whole tribe is on a good energy now. You know, we're all looking forward, we're not looking back. We're talking about, you know, good positive things. Everyone building each other up, which I think at this stage of our life is very important, because we're all going to be trying new things, and the last thing you want is, like, you know, negative nagging. Especially when you're confused if it's coming from a good place or a bad place. You know,
because that's a huge thing, because like guys, like, you know, at this age, you know, around mid-20s and stuff, you know, we're almost like, you know, changing ourselves so much. So like, you know, the guys because like I know sometimes, you know, when I meet some of my school friends, right, and you know, I see them and, you know, they're like suited and whatever, and it's just so like it's like the mind doesn't even register, because to me you're still that idiot in like 10th grade, like we're stuffing, you know, in like a trash can, whatever, you know. And so, you know, even when we meet at first, you know, like sometimes I'll meet some of my old friends and it'll be a bit like, and then afterwards they'll say, I'm bloody fucker. You know, it's just like, you know, some stupid shit. And I think that is a big, because at the end we all want to change, but you know, like, I don't know, I don't know, like I felt it like to be hard, like when people know you like that. So today you start using some phrases, maybe just because you want to sound like more dignified, whatever, right? And it's one of those people can say, oh, but that's not you, Danny. Yeah. But I say, yo, like, I gotta develop me, right? Like, if I keep talking like an asshole like all the time, I'm never gonna, you know. Yeah. So things like that, like, you know, I definitely think, like, I'm sure it's not just us, like everyone feels it. Like when you grow up with people, that's why a lot of times things fade, because and
you grow apart. You grow up and you grow apart.
Yeah, and it's because it's always gonna be like, if I met you in 10th grade, you're always gonna be Danny from 10th grade. It's very hard to then, you know. Sure. You know? And I can feel it too. Like, it's not just the other way, like not feeling excited. I sometimes just don't. It's like, no, like you can't be talking this way. Like, I know you. Like, you know. So
No, but I mean, it's
so I mean, so.
But see, family, just real quick, right? The point was, as long as things are sort of grounded in respect. Yeah. You know, I mean, like, okay, I'm your younger, but there's a respect, right? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like I start talking shit and you give me a smack upside the head, you know? Which, honestly, I wouldn't be too mad at, but, like, you wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, you know? That's, like, the disrespect was, like, I felt like it was too much, man, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't come back from that. And I'm not a guy that, like, I don't know, I like to think that I don't take things too personally.
And I guess like both of we're not those very prideful.
Yeah, I'm not like a super
like,
I'm not gonna be like, oh man, he disrespect me. I gotta get my payment in
my
blood.
family and
Yeah,
all
it's
this,
like whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like I know life goes on, and I'm fairly secure in my own self to not be worried about words. But I'm just saying, like this disrespect was physical in public. He wasn't remorseful immediately. I mean, yeah, sure, I could tell he knew he fucked up, but I think that was more fear than anything, because there was like 4 of us and one of him.
So what cuts it for you? Like what do you think he'd have to do to make you feel back like how you felt about him before?
Or to go back from it, that's the thing, man. At least from where I'm sitting right now, a month later with enough time to think about it, does not feel like anyone can go back from it. Yeah, sure, I could sort of, reintegrate and just be like, yeah, whatever, man, we're cool. But I know I wouldn't mean it, and I know I'd be sensitive like for a very long time. Like I know the next time, if we were like roughhousing or like, not even roughhousing, man. If he said something to me like a good joke, I probably would like just flip,
So let me flip the script, right? Let's say you're in this position where let's say you had maybe you had a bad like week, whatever, shit wasn't working. Or let's just say even if it was good, like let's say, you had like such a good like month that you feel on top of the world. You feel like, I can be an asshole. Just be like, what are you doing? Like, fuck you, and just do some stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
People get pissed, and obviously, the whole group sees Danny's an asshole. What do you do? And do you care enough that to come back in?
Yeah, because okay, so the way I operate is I don't like to think. I mean, I'm sure I'll be fine on my own, but I like having my tribe. You know what I mean? I like having my group, my brethren. The people that like support me, and I support them in turn, not just like, by like helping me out, like I need a ride or whatever, but like emotionally, and like it's a good mindset. It's good to know that you have like a bunch of goons in your corner. Because that gives me a lot of confidence. Holy shit, dude. Like, I walk around like, the office now like I'm no different to the CEO. I'm not flexing or boasting, but it's like I'm a calm in my own skin kind of thing.
What, because of your homies?
That's a mixture of like, the jiu-jitsu and, where I am in life, what I've done so far, from where I came from, and definitely like the tribe I have in my corner, 100%.
Is it because like your tribe's resourceful, or just like because
it's just because there's like bonds, you know what I mean? It's because I know that if I make a phone call, obviously like we're all at this certain age where we got commitments and stuff like that. But if I make a phone call,
back
and
up.
like, no, not for a fight, not for like battle or anything like that. But like, I'm in a jam. At the very least, they'll call someone on my behalf if they can show themselves. And I know I do the same thing for them, dude. I was doing my visa run for Oman. Like this was like that was about a year ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like stuck in the airport for like 30 hours, no sleep, nowhere to sleep, right? And one of our friends, he got into an accident, and I was like in dazed and confused, walking away from the plane, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, dude, I got into an accident. I was like, bro, calm. I got a little stressed. I was like, okay, bro, calm. Let me call some people. And I call like 6 guys to go handle the situation for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that I could do that to them for him. And I know he'd do the same thing for me. And I know all those 6 guys I called would do the same thing for the rest of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not normal, man, to have that at this age, to be very honest with you. You know what I mean? Because everyone's on their own thing, worrying about their own self, worrying about their own future. Which is good. It's fine. It's normal. But like what we have, I feel is special, because I got a big tribe. I got the friends that I met from uni, and I got the friends that I met afterwards. know. So.
Well, what's your take on just like, I don't know, you think these kind of like relationships, friendships ever like fade off, or you get bored of? Or?
I mean, look, definitely get bored of.
Yeah.
Because like you spend enough time around somebody else, you're gonna hate everything about him. You can spend enough time around like Barack Obama, you're gonna think he's a fucking loser in like a year. If you just see him every single day, I mean, it doesn't matter, man. Mahatma Gandhi, most interesting person in the world, you name it. I promise you, if you spend enough time, you're gonna be like, because the truth is, nobody's that remarkable, right?
Yeah.
No one is that impressive to be 365 days the most impressive person in the world, right? Unless they have some, some.
But I mean, in general, like I'm sure like you've had like relationships that just faded. Like it wasn't like no bad
because
blood
I mean, there was it just like once you start moving on with your life, things get a little hard to balance altogether. Now, G, you see, like we're doing this. We committed to doing this on Sunday. Right? We were meant to do it yesterday, but we decided to do it today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm tired, man. You know, man, I
Yeah.
just want to go to bed. I gotta wake up for work tomorrow. But I'm like, no, you know, I gotta put in the effort. And I know this costs effort, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Now, if it was someone that I knew, like loose affiliation,
Yeah.
not loose affiliation, but like we were only friends for a couple months, whatever.
Yeah.
But we shared like one hobby together. I'd be like, dude, go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got stuff to do. But yeah, and see, so if the situations were flipped and I was in, you know, this guy's position who threw a drink at me, if I was like in his position after wronging the group,
Yeah.
I would feel a lot of remorse, man. I'd feel really bad about it. Honestly, to be very honest with you, I don't even think I'd get into that position.
Yeah.
Because my homeboys have a way of always checking.
Yeah.
Everybody checks. That's another big benefit to having a tribe is your ego never really gets too big, especially if you pick the right tribe, because the boys will always check you. You know what I mean?
But was he checked? Like,
He gets checked just about every day, but it's like it's wearing off. You know what I mean? Because we check him verbally. That's what I was saying. I was like, man, maybe I need to check him physically. You know what I mean? Maybe it needs to be like some king of the jungle bullshit, and we take him out to the back of the garden, beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean?
so he's been like warned basically.
Yeah, man.
Like
It's been like very calm warning. Like, hey, man, we don't like this stuff. It's it goes too far, and we get hit with an okay, and then it's twice as bad tomorrow. He's been aggressively checked. And like I aggressively checked him, or at least attempted to check him just before I got a fucking drink thrown at me. You know what I mean? And I mean, dude. Of course, it takes patience. A lot of people take patience, but it's like also opportunity costing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much time am I committing to this? That's not even that. Like, it's one friendship with a guy that isn't like necessarily like a ride or die. There may be a lot of love, but like when someone's down to ride or die, then it's worth fighting for, right? But then even that, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Yeah, like I said again, the disrespect was too much. Like,
It's one of those things where it's like, because I can't fathom why he continued to do it, because again, like, we're not those type of guys that are just like annoy people like for no reason, shit like that. So for him, that's why I think like it's as messed up as it is. Like, what do you do like if you're in that situation, and what could he do?
So what kind of irked me was there was like it was in the air supply that I was gonna be the bigger man. Okay. Which I've really tried hard to build a rep of being the bigger man, to take in the high road, forgiveness, understanding. I'd like to think I'm a very like level-headed guy, and I give people second chances. Definitely, I know that everybody fucks up. Yeah. I try to be as as objective and calm as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that kind of irked me a little bit, because then the pressure on me was to make the same decisions that I've been making for the past couple of years. And I was like, man, is that necessary all the time? You know what I mean? Do I gotta like because then I started to feel like I was rolling over. And I'll admit, at first it was an ego thing, but now that the more I think about it, I feel like maybe I really need to put my foot down on this one. Okay. Because it's like it will never be the same again, and and the only thing I wanted was for it to be like it was before. But if it's never gonna be the same again, if I forgive this guy, what's the point of having it back? It's just I'm just taking on extra risk.
I mean, how much are like friendships and stuff worth to you?
For me, I say it's everything, man. Friends are the family you choose, in my opinion. Yeah. Especially since I'm not even too close. Like, I'm closer to my boys than I am like my blood. Yeah. Especially because I was raised away from the family back in India and stuff. Like, both my cousins live in India, and they're like phone call relationships, even WhatsApp, like every now and then. But the shabab are people I sleep like every day. You know what I mean? In the same house, we share the food. Things like that.
Because I don't know, like for me, like even though I didn't like grow up with my families like that, I just feel like it's like just a different bond. I don't know what it is, but like even with it's not that I just like get rid of friends or whatever, but like, it's like eventually if it's like not that exciting anymore, it's like whatever, it fades, and that's it. Maybe I guess it's also because some of those friends that I had weren't like, like maybe the guys that I wanted. But whereas like with family, even like the ones I haven't like kept in touch with, I haven't known for a while,
Mm.
I don't know, man. It's like when you link up, there's like a automatic thing. Even though like grew up different places, things like that.
But I'd say, G, I mean, one of the reasons I think that's so for you is because
Yeah.
you got a big family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of goons. You got cousins your age. You got,
Yeah.
cousins older, younger. You got
Yeah.
you have dynamics in your family.
Yeah.
It's enough to say keep it interesting.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're blood, so it's like tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I just feel like, obviously I had friends that are closer, but like, I feel like, I guess maybe it's just the fact that it's blood, it sticks there. Whereas like, I don't know, like I'm just the type of guy like, maybe I guess it's also just the way we live in, but it doesn't like hold
yeah,
that much
Dubai
value.
does have a very impermanent situation. Everybody's
Yeah.
on 5-year plans, so
And
people tend not to get too close.
that was the thing, cause like when I finished high school,
Mm.
everyone bounced.
Mm.
Everyone either went home country, America, Canada, whatever.
Mm.
Went to college, finished college, everyone bounced. Like my old college,
Mm.
people went back to their own countries or work, things like that.
Mm.
So I feel like that was like, I think it's things like that just
Mm.
got me like not to be too attached kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I just like, I don't pay too much mind. Like it's,
Mm.
friendship takes a L. It's like,
Yeah.
But I don't know, do you like all your friends like that? Like you like the time you spend?
Yeah.
Are there some that's just like, or like, and maintenance kind of thing?
Not the ones that I see more often than not.
Okay.
The ones I see at least like plenty of times a week.
Yeah.
Like the man them was supposed to come over tonight as well, but I was like, bro, calm, I'm recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those guys, it'd be very difficult for me to get tired of seeing them. By
Yeah.
very difficult, I mean maybe like 2 weeks straight, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, fucking get away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cause okay, so like we've had like friends that maybe aren't like don't play as big of a role in your life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So like something like, do you think about something like that where it's like you get bored of something and just like
Bored
Or
is
just,
bored.
like,
Look,
fed
I
up.
don't get. Look, it's not bored. It's
Yeah.
things can get stagnant, and then I
Yeah.
can start desiring more from the friendship, right? So say now, like you and me, if all we did for like 10 years was to like get Philly, get some
Yeah.
tea and talk shit,
Yeah.
and then eventually like you and I are nowhere near that interesting that we're gonna talk shit for 10
Yeah.
years straight. You know what I mean?
I don't know,
we're
man,
gonna
we
get-
had some gems.
We're gonna get bored, whatever, and then we're gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Yo, man, do you want to get coffee at the shop next door?" Now, if you're hesitant to the change, I promise you that friendship is not gonna last much longer. Although it did last just 10 years, but that was an exaggerated amount of time, right? But if you were like, "Yo, yeah, let's get the coffee, and then tomorrow let's go Jebel Jason, we'll drive the cars, we'll do some toge."
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, because I think as people, at least my kind of personality, I desire to grow and I
Yeah.
desire to do new things. And I feel like the friendship will be stronger if we do those things together. That being said, there is a place for loyalty in my heart. There is a place for if you go north, I go south, there's still like, we still got bond, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, obviously it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
I may not enjoy your company per se,
Mm.
but I'm still going to like ride or die for you.
I like to
That's
see
at least
how,
my mentality.
I like to see how, because I guess like us also like, maybe haven't like fully immersed in like career, marriage, like all that kind of thing. So I guess like that's one of those things where I think about like, oh, how would life be at that
I mean,
point?
from what I've seen, like now obviously I'm like some killing the game with the career and I got like, so much responsibility on my shoulders, but I do have a schedule and I do have commitments to show up to.
Yeah.
And I do realize that one of the things is if you care about it enough, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like this podcast or tomorrow after work, no matter what, I got to go jiu-jitsu. I got to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if my homie, like my little homie calls and says, yo, Daniel, he's in high school, but if he says, yo, Daniel, I need some help with my English paper, 100% I'm going to do it. I'll make the time. I'll go to sleep at 1:30 in the morning if I have to do it, as my homie's little brother. And I call him my little brother, honestly, sometimes. If my big bro says like, yo, man, I got like my back's hurting, I need you to take the hospital, something like that, 100%. If you call me G and you be like, yo, I got a flat, I need like someone to sing Hindi songs for me, you know, I try to learn some Hindi. Nah, I'm playing. But like, you know what I'm saying? That's where I draw the line. No, but you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
if you care enough, you're gonna do it, you know? No
Mhm.
matter what. That's why I really believe that like as soon as I have kids, friendship's really gonna be tested.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's what because you see like okay like even like the guys our age they're like working and stuff right, but it's the responsibility
ooh,
where you are like solo dolo.
mm,
You gotta take care of your own shit, live on your own, cooking, cleaning, whatever the fuck, right? And then also like maybe there's a significant other in the picture, maybe there's kids like I like
but I hope there's a significant other in the picture.
because because that's the thing like when I see like the oldies that I know, uncles whatever, it's one of those things like, hey, if I came to your town I'd call you up like shit like it's not like hell I'm hanging out with a man I'm like on the regular kind of thing. I don't see that. That's like one of the things I think about. Like I wonder how it'd be like later on.
I think a good schedule would be, honestly, I'd take it from the sort of the Emirati,
Yeah.
the Emirati type of way, or at least we like to call it local,
Yeah.
the local type of way. Because one of my homie's little brother was really elaborating this one for me, and even my homie was too. And it was jokes, but there's also a bit of seriousness in it. He goes like, "Man, you know what the local dad does?" I was like, "What does the average local dad do?" He's like, "The weekdays are for the shabab. You go to the majlis, you watch football, you talk about cars, you talk about power tools, you drink karak,
Like that's it.
and like, yeah, you live
Yeah.
a simple life. You know, they value the simplicity.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
do this or you do whatever you're interested
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
but that's for your friends. The weekdays are for your friends, and you show up, you eat dinner at your house, you go to sleep.
Okay.
Friday is family day. All right, you just dedicate your Friday to your family, no matter what. Saturday is a day for yourself. Okay."
But how can you be like hanging out with the man them like on a weekday?
For those boys, he's like, you think I'm gonna raise my kids? He's like, my wife. That's my wife's job, isn't it? I was like, all right, bro. You know, I'm gonna be living a different kind of lifestyle. But
Because like I don't know. I guess like you see like even like old traditions and stuff like. You see, even work hours and stuff are different. Whereas, they might like go to work in the morning, and then finish like let's say like 2 p.m. That was it because like it wasn't these like thriving economies and you need to be there and do all, like a million things. It's like laid back. So I feel like that time was like it's chill, because you can chill out with the.
And another thing is like, I mean, I'm definitely saying this so easy now because I'm young and I never even had like I'm not have a kid or anything like that. But I would really like to think that I would not get too hell bent on spending as much time as possible with my kids. It sounds so dumb, but I'd be like, yo, man, I want to grind and make a good life for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I will be more satisfied if I have them safe. You know what I mean? Like I have them financially safe in case like one day I kick the bucket and they're left with nothing. Because I'd rather they be left with a big check than a couple of fond memories. In my very honest opinion. Now I'm saying that so easily now, right? But I'm sure when I change, I'll be like,
I've had that conversation. Like I remember me and my buddy, and we sort of like had like similar issues with like our dads and stuff, and we like complained to each other, whatever. And I remember once like we were talking, I was like, "Yo, G, would you take like a good dad, like the like he's coming here like football practice and all this stuff, or a rich dad?" And for me, it's like, dude, rich any I need my money. Like, bro, it's,
I mean, yeah, you can be both, but it just costs a lot of fucking time and effort. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It'll cost a lot of time and effort. But
I mean, it's one of those things where, because I've seen guys who've had good dads and stuff, or like parents in general, and I can see the difference. Like, we've had to overcome shit. Like, we were not like, we're not perfect now, but like, we didn't like grow up like confident and like, full self-esteem and right? Straight up. Whereas like, I've seen guys who, sort of had that.
Like present fathers. You've seen guys
And you could see, I could definitely see the difference. And I've seen it, right? I've met some people, you have a conversation, chill, and right away I know. And when I talk to them with the parents, they're like, "Oh yeah, I love my parents," and blah blah blah. Obviously, we all love our parents, but like there's levels, and you can see it right away, and it's so apparent. So I do think on some level, obviously, like at the end, we're like animals. You gotta survive, right?
Yeah.
And to survive, you know, you need that food.
Get appease in order.
Yeah.
Nah, but you're right, dude. Honestly, like, I'm not saying I had like an absentee dad, but he was definitely not around as much as like, my friends' dads. You know what I mean?
Daniel's dad. I hope you're not listening.
No, he knows there's love and respect now.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of respect because he grinded to get us out of a situation.
And that's the thing, like,
you know.
like now that we're in this sitch,
Yeah.
you can see like,
Yeah. I
like
mean, we're living. I don't know, man. We're living pretty fucking good, no?
like even
Don't you think?
like even certain things like let's say like a trip, right?
Yeah.
Like you go on vacation, and we think like it's fine, and like we ain't flying like business. Or
Yeah,
fuck,
we
you
ain't
know?
on that first.
Yeah, you
what
know.
I mean?
But like now, it's like you look at it, you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, fucking hell, man.
that was,
Yeah.
that's what's up. I respect.
Yeah.
Not a good dad.
I remember as a kid, man, I didn't give a fuck that we all flew out, the whole family together, for like 2 months in the U.S. Fucking hotels all the time, Disneyland, all the theme parks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was living in Bahrain at the time. Right? I did not give a fuck as a kid, bro. I was like, yeah, whatever. You know? But now I'm just like, bro, that's a mad bird he must have dropped. And I remember we were in New York City when I was like 14. And I literally did not give a shit that we were in New York City. I was like, I'm tired. I want to go home. I was a fat fucking kid, you know? Then my dad just lost it. He's like, you're tired. You want to go home? You know what I mean? And I was like, why is he being mean to me? And now I look back, I'm like, bro, if I time travel back, I would have kicked my fucking ass along with my dad.
Can you imagine like you grind it because you're like, my kids are gonna love me,
dude, man.
and then you just got some fat useless.
Yes, I had like a quadruple chin. I was like fucking, just fat kid. And I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to see Times Square. My dad, bro, I saw the look in his eyes. He was pissed, bro. He was so angry. But now he knows his respect. Now it's like, okay, I respect because he took us out of that situation. Like when you starting out as a middle class brown family and then coming up to where we are, which is by no means we're not diamonds and furs, but it's a lot better than it could have been.
Oh yeah.
And that's respect,
Yeah.
But I was not raised with a very present male figure in my life, and therefore I was raised by my sensitive mother and my friends at school, and maybe even my friend's dads. If time was, my friend's dad was the one who taught me how to fish and tie a tie. My grandfather was the one who taught me how to drive. My mother was the one who taught me how to ride a bike. Such things like that.
I already know how to ride a bike.
You don't even know how to ride a bike? You don't know how to swim either, right?
I mean, it's like, to survive. But like,
no, that's whatever, bro. I'll teach you, don't worry. But but that's the thing, like my dad did the 9 to 5, did the MBA while he was working.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of time to be around my bro and I. So when the discipline came from him, I was like, as a kid, I was like, man, who the fuck is you? You know what I mean? But obviously, I will whisper that shit because I get an ass whooping if I talk too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then, obviously, my bro and I, we also raised ourselves, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't grow into, like, the tightest bros. I mean, we got a lot of love for each other, but it's not like, whatever, you know what I mean?
But
like,
I
we were raised on the internet and video games a lot, definitely. And films.
Dude, I can connect with them because, like, I remember, too, like, for me, like, both parents was, like, working in that. So it was, like, I'd come home. It was just, like, me and my bro, like, throughout. So we was in like school, we was like, in the bus, whatever. So just like always, and that's like how we grew up, just watching. And it was like reckless, man. Like sometimes I think about, like, sometimes I see like parents nowadays, and like for us, it's like, as kids, like just roaming to whatever, doing whatever that we want. Yeah. Just like the worst diet, just like, because we had like a cook, he was a cook, like he used to clean, he used to do everything. So we used to come home like assholes, like with a chocolate ball. 2 box nuggets, and just like, watching like it was. And now, like these, I was actually thinking about, like, when we think about these things, it's like, and we're gonna end it on this, and maybe we'll discuss this next podcast. But it's sort of like, we don't decide to be here. Our parents decide to have us. Yeah. So, like, should we be treated this way? And this is something I think, like, you know,
I think we best think on that, man, because I don't have the answers right now.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I
yeah,
don't find 23 years. I don't think I have the answers at all. We'll find out.
I mean, I thought about so, but you know, we'll discuss it next time. You know, it's been like, you know,
Defo.
some time now. I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed the, you know, the podcast. I hope
Yeah.
it was something helpful.
Let us know if you're a fan of this format. If you're a fan of, I don't know, some of the accents or bits we do, or if you're a fan of, like, I don't know, hearing more about our high school life, our middle school life, or our love life. I'll tell you, this will be a short podcast. Just love life. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what you're a fan
No
of.
podcast.
Tell us what you're fans of, and tell us what you hate. But you know, it's all love. So
Yeah, I hope you guys got enough gist from us of to
Enough
sort
what?
of gauge, huh?
Enough what?
Like a gist of.
Oh,
what
okay.
we're-
I thought you said
not
something else,
gist,
bro. I was
hope
like,
you
bro, that's
guys-
after, bro. Come.
I hope you guys just, like, you know, got a sense of what we're kind of like. So you know, you can ask us questions, and hey, maybe you have some stories. You know, we can sort of discuss it here and like.
Dude, I'd be so happy to read you guys' stories.
Oh
out
yeah,
there,
straight
for
up.
sure.
I mean, I've seen other people do it. It's so dope. And if we can start giving advice and shit too, I think that'd be like fun.
Yeah.
Because that's what you need. You know, unqualified guys giving you advice.
100%, baby.
Right, that's the best.
All right.
But yeah, guys.
This is Daniel. That's my boy Omar.
Omar.
And yeah, I think we're done, man.
Yeah, see y'all next week.
Next week.
Peace.